Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fluent English with Podcast. I'm your host, Sophie.
And I'm Alan. Today, we're tackling a topic that can make your palms sweaty, even for native speakers. The job interview.
You're absolutely right, Alan. But fear not, English learners. Fluent English with Podcast is here to be your interview prep partner.
Exactly. By listening to real conversations about job interviews, you'll be actively improving your listening skills and picking up essential vocabulary used in these situations. Plus, we'll break down some key interview tips to boost your confidence and help you feel prepared.
Whether you're just starting your English learning journey or are already at an intermediate level, this episode is designed to give you the tools you need to shine in your next interview.
Before we jump into the thick of things, let's build a foundation with some key words you'll hear throughout the episode.
That's a fantastic way to start, Alan. Here are some important words to remember.
Resume. This is a document, kind of like a report card for your work experience, that shows companies your skills and any past jobs you've had. Think of it as your chance to brag in a professional way, of course, about what you're good at.
Interview. This is a formal meeting where you get to talk to a company about a specific job opening that you're interested in. It's your chance to learn more about the position and convince them that you're the perfect person for the job.
Candidate. This is simply the person applying for the job, which could be you.
Interviewer. This is the person from the company who asks you questions about your resume and experience to see if you're a good fit for the position.
Qualifications. These are the skills and experience that make you a good match for the job. When preparing for an interview, think about what the job description asks for and how your skills and experience align with those requirements.
Behavioral questions. These are questions that interviewers ask to understand how you handled situations in the past. They might ask you things like, tell me about a time you had to work under pressure, or describe a situation where you had to solve a problem.
Technical skills. These are the specific skills required to do the job effectively. For example, if you're interviewing for a web developer position, having strong coding skills would be considered a technical skill.
Throughout this podcast, we'll have 3 special guests who will be sharing their own interview experiences and insights. They've all been through the interview process and have some great tips to share with you.
Not only that, but we'll also be listening to real-life interview dialogues that showcase how these words we just learned are used in a real interview setting. This is a fantastic way to hear how the vocabulary flows naturally in conversation.
So, get ready to learn valuable vocabulary, interview tips, and feel more confident on your next interview adventure. We're here to help you ace that interview and land your dream job.
Let's dive in. Let's get some practical advice to make you feel more prepared for your next interview.
Absolutely. Today, we're joined by Sarah, a career coach with a proven track record of helping people land their dream jobs. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, Alan. Thanks so much for having me on Fluent English with Podcast.
Sarah, with all your experience, what are your top 3 tips for someone preparing for a job interview?
Great question. First, I always recommend researching the company and the position you're applying for. Dive into their website, social media pages, and maybe even recent news articles. Learn about their values, mission, and what specific skills and experience they're looking for in a candidate. This shows initiative and genuine interest in the job, not just another resume being thrown into the pile.
That's a fantastic point, Sarah. Not only does it show effort, but it also helps you prepare for common interview questions like, why do you want to work for our company? You can then tailor your answer to highlight how your skills and goals align with their needs.
Exactly. Second, practice your answers to common interview questions beforehand. Think about your work experience and skills, and how they specifically relate to the job description you're applying for. This will help you feel confident and articulate during the interview itself. You won't be scrambling for words when the interviewer asks about your strengths or a time you faced a challenge.
Yes, practicing is key. It helps you feel more prepared and avoid those awkward silences that can sometimes happen in interviews. It's also a good idea to have a few questions prepared for the interviewer at the end. This shows your interest in the company and the position.
Finally, dress professionally and arrive on time. First impressions matter, so make sure you look and act the part. Dress appropriately for the company culture you researched. If it's a casual startup environment, a suit might be overkill, but aim for neat, clean clothes that project professionalism. And of course, arriving on time shows respect for the interviewer's time and schedule.
These are all fantastic tips, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing them with our listeners. They're truly valuable advice for anyone preparing for an interview.
You're welcome. I hope these tips help someone land their dream job.
Thanks again, Sarah. Now that you have some interview prep tips under your belt, let's delve into a specific type of interview question, the behavioral question.
Behavioral questions can sound intimidating, but they're actually quite common.
Behavioral questions are designed to understand how you handled situations in the past. They might ask you things like, tell me about a time you had to work under pressure, or describe a situation where you had to solve a problem.
The interviewer wants to see if your past experiences demonstrate the skills and qualities they're looking for in the job.
There's a helpful method called the STAR method that can assist you in answering these questions effectively. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result.
Let's break it down. First, describe the situation. Briefly explain the context of the situation you're going to talk about.
Next, explain the task. What was your specific responsibility or challenge in that situation?
Then, detail the action you took. Describe what you did to address the situation or complete the task.
Finally, share the result. What was the outcome of your actions? Did you solve the problem? Did you achieve a positive outcome?
Let's hear how this method plays out in a real interview setting.
Tell me about a time you had to work effectively under pressure.
Sure, when I was working at my previous job as a customer service representative, we had a sudden surge in calls due to a technical issue with our website. The phones were ringing off the hook, and customers were understandably frustrated. My task was to handle the increased call volume while maintaining a positive and helpful attitude with each customer. I took action by prioritizing calls and delegating tasks to other available team members. I also used clear and concise communication to explain the situation to each customer and reassure them that we were working to resolve the issue. As a result, we were able to clear the call backlog efficiently, and most customers were understanding and appreciative of our efforts. I even received several compliments from customers for my patience and professionalism during that busy period.
Did you hear how the candidate used the STAR method effectively?
Absolutely. He clearly described the situation, his task, the actions he took, and the positive outcome. This shows the interviewer that he can handle pressure and perform well under challenging circumstances.
Exactly. Remember, behavioral questions are your chance to showcase your skills and problem-solving abilities with real-life examples. Now, let's shift gears and talk about highlighting your technical skills during an interview.
That's a great point, Sophie. Technical skills are often crucial for many jobs.
Absolutely. Technical skills are the specific abilities and knowledge required to perform the job duties effectively. For example, if you're interviewing for a web developer position, having strong coding skills would be considered a technical skill.
So how can you make sure your technical skills shine during the interview?
Here are a few things you can do.
Review the job description carefully. Identify the specific technical skills mentioned and tailor your responses to showcase your experience in those areas.
Use clear and concise language. Avoid technical jargon that the interviewer might not understand. If you do need to use a technical term, explain it briefly in layman's terms.
Quantify your achievements. When talking about your technical skills, try to quantify your accomplishments with numbers or specific examples. For instance, you could say, I increased website traffic by 20% by implementing SEO best practices.
Be prepared to demonstrate your skills. Some interviews might involve a technical skills assessment or a live coding challenge. Be prepared to showcase your abilities in a practical way.
Let's hear how this translates into an interview conversation.
Your resume mentions experience with project management software. Can you tell me about a specific project where you use this software effectively?
Sure. I see you mentioned proficiency in Asana, which I use extensively. In my previous role at a marketing agency, I used Asana to manage a large social media campaign for a new product launch. I created tasks, assigned them to team members, and set deadlines within the platform. This ensured everyone was on the same page, and we were able to deliver the campaign on time and within budget.
That's impressive. Did you use any specific features of Asana that were particularly helpful?
Absolutely. The ability to set task dependencies and track progress in real time was crucial for keeping the project moving smoothly.
Notice how the candidate didn't just say they have experience with project management software.
Exactly. They linked their experience to the specific software mentioned in the job description and used an example to showcase how they used their technical skills to achieve a positive outcome.
They also avoided technical jargon and used clear language that the interviewer could understand.
By highlighting your technical skills effectively, you can convince the interviewer that you have the right qualifications to excel in the job.
So far, we've covered interview tips, behavioral questions, and highlighting your technical skills. Now, let's face it, interviews can be nerve-wracking. So how can you manage those pre-interview jitters?
Absolutely. Interview nerves are completely normal, but luckily there are ways to cope with them.
Here are a few techniques to calm your nerves before an interview.
Preparation is key. The more prepared you are for the interview, the more confident you'll feel. Research the company, practice your answers to common questions, and anticipate potential technical assessments.
Positive self-talk. Instead of focusing on your anxieties, remind yourself of your skills and experience. Use positive affirmations like "I am capable" or "I am well prepared for this interview."
Relaxation techniques. Deep breathing exercises or light meditation can help to calm your mind and body. Practice these techniques beforehand so you can use them effectively on interview day.
Visualize success. Imagine yourself confidently answering questions and making a positive impression on the interviewer. Visualization can help to boost your confidence and reduce anxiety.
Focus on your body language, maintain good posture, make eye contact with the interviewer, and avoid fidgeting. Confident body language can project self-assurance even if you're feeling nervous.
Let's hear how someone might manage their nerves during an actual interview.
Hi, I'm David. Thanks for having me in today.
Hi David, nice to meet you. Please have a seat.
Thank you. I apologize. I'm a little nervous. This is an important opportunity for me.
No worries at all, David. Everyone gets nervous during interviews. Just take a deep breath and relax.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, I feel a bit better now. Let's get started.
Notice how David acknowledged his nervousness but didn't dwell on it.
Exactly. He apologized briefly and then focused on taking a deep breath and calming himself down.
The interviewer was also understanding and offered encouragement. Remember, most interviewers have been in your shoes before and understand interview anxiety.
By taking steps to manage your nerves, you can ensure that you present yourself in the best possible light during your interview.
Now, let's get some real-world inspiration from someone who's aced the interview process.
Absolutely. Today we're joined by Valerie, a marketing specialist who recently landed their dream job. Valerie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, Alan. Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Valerie, congratulations on your new job. Can you tell us a bit about your interview experience?
Absolutely. I interviewed for a marketing specialist position at a tech startup. The interview process was actually quite rigorous. There were multiple rounds of interviews, including a technical assessment.
Wow. That sounds intense. What helped you stay calm and focused throughout the process?
Honestly, the tips you just covered on the show were a lifesaver. I researched the company thoroughly, practiced my answers to common questions, and even used the STAR method to prepare for behavioral questions.
That's fantastic. And what about the technical assessment?
I felt prepared because I reviewed the job description carefully and anticipated the types of skills they might test. It turned out I was right and I was able to complete the assessment confidently.
Great job, Valerie. It sounds like your preparation really paid off. Did you have any specific strategies for managing interview nerves?
Sure. Before each interview, I did some deep breathing exercises and practiced visualization techniques. I also focused on positive self-talk and reminded myself of all the hard work and experience I bring to the table.
Those are all excellent strategies. And what about after the interview?
I always followed up with a thank you email to each interviewer, reiterating my interest in the position.
That's a great point, Valerie. Following up after the interview shows your continued interest and professionalism.
Next, we'll discuss the importance of following up after an interview, but for now, Valerie, any final words of advice for our listeners?
Absolutely. Job interviews can be challenging, but with preparation, practice, and a positive attitude, you can definitely impress your interviewer and land your dream job. Believe in yourself and your skills.
Thanks so much for sharing your story, Valerie. It's truly inspiring.
Now we'll discuss the importance of following up after your interview.
Absolutely. Following up shows your continued interest in the position and leaves a positive final impression on the interviewer.
Here are some key points for crafting a strong follow-up email.
Timing is key. Send your email within 24 hours of the interview. This shows you're enthusiastic and keeps you fresh in the interviewer's mind.
Express gratitude. Thank the interviewer for their time and consideration.
Reiterate your qualifications and interest. Briefly remind them of your skills and why you're a good fit for the role. You can personalize the message by mentioning a specific detail you discussed during the interview.
Proofread carefully. Typos or grammatical errors can be a major turnoff.
By following these simple tips, you can ensure your follow-up email is concise, professional, and effectively highlights your qualifications.
Following up after an interview demonstrates initiative and professionalism. It shows the interviewer you're genuinely interested in the opportunity.
Well, that concludes our series on mastering job interviews. We hope these tips help you feel confident and prepared for your next interview.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, with hard work, preparation, and a positive attitude, you can land your dream job.